Business Lexington is made possible with the support of Cornet IMS. 25 years of providing integrated marketing solutions to Kentucky's top businesses and organizations. Cornet-IMS.com.
And by the Keeneland Association, offering the finest in thoroughbred racing, along with thoroughbred auctions 4 times yearly in Lexington, Kentucky.
Arts and economy columnist Chris Huskisson finds a dual mission behind the Lexington Opera House Fund and the sponsorships of local businesses, making possible both professional national productions as well as nurturing a local performing arts scene.
Most of us would rather not think about the effort that goes into a great musical, opera, play, or concert because our job is to simply relax and enjoy. But in the case of the Lexington Opera House, a look behind the scenes reveals a unique collaboration worthy of applause. Without the Opera House Fund, the Lexington Center Corporation, and support from our local business community, the Lexington Opera House would not be as alive as it is today.
Most of the people who have performed here have a sense of awe when they're on stage because they're sharing the stage with other greats that have been through the city or have been a part of the community at some point in their lives. And so there's a real sense of theatrical respect when you're here.
Many, many stars have appeared on our stage. George Winston has appeared here. Marvin Hamlish has appeared here.
Maud Adams performed here. Eddie Foy and the Seven Little Foys. Fanny Brice. Helen Hayes, Harry Houdini did his magic shows here, and Thomas Edison. I was at home one evening reading the paper when we got a Lexington Herald and a Lexington Leader, and in the evening paper was a little blurb that the Lexington Opera House had been condemned by the fire marshal and would be demolished. So the Lexington Center purchased the property. And Mr. Young and my then husband, George Carey, and I, with other members of the community, sat down and said, now how can we make this really work?
Funds were raised in the late 70s to renovate the Opera House. Then, after the renovation was completed, additional funds were raised to create an endowment to make it possible for local arts groups and touring arts groups to use the facility.
We started out in the very beginning saying that we would subsidize the use of the Opera House to local arts groups who were nonprofit.
I knew from the very beginning that the Opera House was the place for music theater. It just has that aroma of music theater in it. Art is expensive to produce anywhere and at any time, and I think music theater, being one of the most collaborative of all art forms, is also one of the most expensive for that reason. And I mean, I don't think it's too much to say that Paragon just wouldn't exist if we didn't have the subsidy.
By subsidizing rent and certain production costs will guarantee a touring group against loss.
However, it's incumbent upon the Performing Arts Department here at Lexington Center to find sponsors to help offset that cost. And these sponsors are community partners, if you will, businesses who recognize the value of this programming here at the Opera House. And in so doing, they offer financial support to our Broadway Live and Variety Live programming.
Ball Homes has had the privilege to sponsor the Opera House and the Broadway series Live for almost 13 years now. Ball likes to find one that's family-oriented, and we're able to sponsor a show each year, typically one that has some family interest and would appeal to the families that we serve in the community.
Our show sponsors for Broadway Live have a wonderful benefit of presence and signage all over the community with all the advertising we do for each show title.
It is an opportunity for us to get some advertising benefit. It's certainly not the main reason, but the Broadway series is very, very good about showing us where our dollars are spent throughout the year. Furthermore, we enjoy coming to the show.
Currently, the Opera House Fund and Lexington Center are embarking on a capital campaign for renovations here at the theater. The theater was saved over 30 years ago from the wrecking ball, as we all know, But after 30 years of really strong utilization and lots of groups and patrons being in our house, we're due for a little facelift, if you will.
You know, this is a grand old gal, but she needs a little fixing up.
After 30 years of heavy usage, the Opera House is due for a little fixing up. So, as the capital campaign draws to a close, the house will begin renovations this summer that will include a new sound system and, yes, something that we've all been calling for, new seats. Covering arts and the economy for Business Lexington, this is Chris Huskisson.